My name is Ala Shami. I'm 22 years of age. I used to work as a deli clerk in a supermarket in Glen Rock, New Jersey. I worked there for 3 years, but I lost my job during the pandemic because my dad got sick and I was advised to self-quarantine. I mentioned before my dad and I got sick. We tested positive for COVID, and when it comes to symptoms, I was experiencing nothing. I was asymptomatic. I didn't feel anything. However, my dad was having a hard time breathing. He had a fever, dry cough, and fatigue, body fatigue. Measures that I'm taking to stay safe is washing my hands frequently, wearing a mask in public, avoid crowded places, and just don't go out when it's not necessary. I would really recommend a full lockdown to this country, like a nationwide lockdown for at least 14 days and get right where we're supposed to be. I first heard about COVID back in early March, but I was really worried about COVID and the whole situation. And I realized it's really bad when I heard about the first case that was in the US. I think that COVID today is really worse than March, and however we kind of know more about COVID and we kind of know how to deal with it, but it's obviously really bad. It's worse than what it was in March. We're seeing millions of cases, hundreds of thousands every day right now. It's hundreds of thousands new cases every day, and we're going through a hard time. It's gonna be worse and worse until we find a vaccine that will, I've not gone back to normal like I was before the pandemic, but I'm like less scared to go out because we know more about the virus and how we can prevent or try to prevent spreading it. So I'm a little less scared now than I was back in March when I first heard about it. But I do run my daily errands. I go grocery shopping. I go shopping. I do whatever I have to do. But I always, keep my distance and stay safe. What I miss about being in a normal life is basically everything about normal life, everything about and people interactions, going out, traveling. The first thing I'm gonna do when this whole thing ends, I'm gonna travel without wearing a mask. I self-taught myself how to play the piano during quarantine. I discovered that I really like it, and I actually kept going with it right now. I practice almost every day. It's really nice. My favorite stay-at-home activity is actually playing board games with the family late at night. I think that the local and federal government did a really bad job by trying not to help not spreading the virus across the country. I think that they really delayed all the restrictions. They could have done it way earlier. We could have stopped the spread way earlier than that. I mean, it's out of control now, and that's why we should consider another shutdown. I mean, we never had a really like a real lockdown, but I think that we really should have a real lockdown, trying to help not spread the virus anymore. I think that COVID would be much worse in the coming months, in a couple months, and even a year. It's gonna keep getting worse until we find a vaccine that will prevent COVID, and it will be effective enough for people to take it. The news source that I follow is an actual app on my phone. It's called News app, and the only thing I follow is the live coronavirus cases. Daily, it's updated like every hour, and it's it's really important to see that, in my opinion. But other than that, I barely follow any news. Um, I think that it makes it really worse than what it really is. I'm gonna live my life really differently after the pandemic, because um, all the human interactions and the human spirit is just gonna be like gone, and we're not gonna have what we had before the pandemic. But I think a lot of people's lives gonna change. I'm really concerned about everything being remotely. Um, a lot of companies actually realize that it's a lot cheaper to just work from home and let employees work from home. I just hope that everything comes back to what we had before the pandemic. I mean, you never feel it until you lose it. So, yeah. Take that question. Cut it. Okay? Don't forget. Please don't send it. Cut it. All right, let's get it.